She fought for what she believed in. Here he's getting a call back from the social worker and arranging for the hotel. So I'm going to fast forward through this.
Hey, Brian. Can I take 2 minutes of your time real quick back here?
So I do like that the officer was kind of standing, like kind of creating a buffer area with traffic, because the reality is, whether police officers know this or not, that they are more likely to be killed in the line of duty in a traffic-related accident, something that has to do with either a car accident while they're driving, or being struck as a pedestrian, or being struck during a traffic stop, or a tire coming off of a truck and hitting them, etc., than any other cause. So more likely to be killed for that than by a gun. And so I do like that they were being cognizant of that very real risk and making an effort to try to protect the person that they have detained.
So, because there was an assault that took place and you were obviously showing signs of the strikes, do you mind if I take pictures of the injuries that you sustained? I know it's not super severe. I mean, you want me to call, I can call the EMS if you want me to. You don't seem like you want to go that far. Yeah, I need to take pictures for my evidence.
Okay, it's good that he offered to call EMS, although he did it in a way that was like, kind of sounds like you don't want me to, which is, not truly a real sincere offer, but I'm glad that he made that available.
Otherwise, it's going to be your say, their say, my say, and of course, no. So I have to do this right over already. So it's just going to be a couple of minutes.
So this woman is actually doing what I thought the other ones would do, which is not really wanting to let him have total access, unabated access to the vehicle, and says, I'm going to go with you to get her phone. Where are we going in the car? She's really trying to create boundaries around his ability to pull things out of the vehicle, which is following protocol and is what she's supposed to do in that circumstance. Because again, they don't know if he has a weapon in the vehicle.
One of his grandparents, and he's got this scratch on his couch. And you saw it earlier. Yeah, I saw it. I was trying to build some consistency between the stories. And then you see your hand. Is that? From a wire, but I'm going to take a picture of it just in case I'll document it. You're saying that's from a wire, not from a wire. It's just I want to document it. Do you have anything on the other arm, on the back, chest, nothing like that? You get your neck that way as well. You want to kind of tilt your head off to the right and go back, is that? This is just for precautions. You might look in your shirt for me. We can go back here and do some privacy.
He even offers some privacy for modesty. Wow, very thoughtful. So they did not do this to Gabby's body, and they should have. They should have had the female officer take pictures as well, because that evidence was lost, and they squandered an opportunity essentially, and they should have taken pictures of her hands and her neck and her back and her stomach and everything else to see, and lo and behold, it ends up that there's a huge bruise there or something that could have changed the entire investigation.
I want to, like I said, I want to get very thorough. I want to make sure that you don't have any additional information.
So I actually like this. He's saying, I want to make sure you don't have any additional injuries you don't know about. He's being thorough and documenting the evidence. I don't know that he's really taking it super seriously, because a lot of the pictures that he's taking are directly into the sun, or the sun is right behind him, and so it's going to be a terrible picture in terms of the quality. But nonetheless, he's going through the motions.
So I talked to my contact over there at people that can help with hotel rooms and stuff like that. I go to the office and just kind of try to like a couple people trying to get it all lined up, because certain people have access to the corporate card, he doesn't. So we're trying to get everything lined up.
He's just explaining about the delays in getting the hotel and who has access to the corporate card, etc. So I might fast forward through some of this.
It's going to take us a few minutes to get that lined up, get her cited and stuff like that. Like I said, we're going to be handing her a piece of paper that has what's on the city and stuff like that, and she'll be able to email that down the back. Okay? So, yeah. You want to go ahead and finish getting your stuff? Yeah.
Better self-conscious, telling her parents just to feel better. She doesn't want to not be with them.
So that's very expected. Whether there is a domestic violence incident or dynamic between them or not, it's expected that she would not want to be separated, especially if she's been camping with him 100% of the time and has never been alone. Although actually that's not true, because he did fly home to Florida to help his dad move their belongings into storage, supposedly. So I guess they were alone, but she stayed in a hotel during that time. She was not camping. So I get it, because being a female alone, no dog, camping can feel very vulnerable. And I understand why she didn't want to be separated. But if there is a domestic violence element, which it looks like there probably is, then it makes sense that she wouldn't want to be separated for that reason too, knowing that he's going to be angry. Why did you talk to the police? What did you say? Look at what you've done. I can see why she wouldn't want to be separated from him if there's a power dynamic in their relationship too.
That's what it doesn't matter. Yeah. So
that's nobody's fault.
None of this is intelligible. I can't hear it. I don't think it's intelligible. I'm going to keep fast forwarding.
she went to smack her.
She went to smack him? Wait. to smack him. I wonder if he's talking on the phone with the social worker, who he's talking to. I can't hear the other end of the conversation.
He's got a swollen right eye, scratches. So we gotta go find it.
He's got a swollen right eye, scratches. So we've got to, I think he said, so we've got to cite her. Is that what he said? It's like they got so distracted by that shiny dangling object at the very beginning that that's all they see. That's all they could see. And you know, I can't even be that critical of failing to identify the primary aggressor correctly or thoroughly or responsibly, because they don't get enough training in it. If I had to predict, I would predict that they've had about 2 hours of training in domestic violence and probably no specific training in identifying a primary aggressor. Maybe they had 5 minutes. You know? I haven't pulled the records to see, maybe I'm wrong, but it certainly is not extensive training. And so how can I criticize someone who's been charged with a job that they're just not qualified for?
Was it intent and attempt, or intent or attempt?
So he's talking with someone who's coaching him about how he can present a question to Gabby. And he's asking, is it intent and attempt or intent or attempt? Because he's trying to get it straight. Because he's about to walk over to Gabby and coach her so that he can get the result that he's all along wanted. So this is actually important. I wish I could hear what the other person was saying. Hard to hear, but what's going on right now is this little conspiracy, although I don't think they have the intent to conspire, but nonetheless, this little arrangement between these officers to come up with some kind of legal foundation or justification to avoid making an arrest, which is what the legislature intended. That's what's happening right now. Attempting to cause pain or attempting to cause injury.
Right.
The only way you know her intent is by asking her. That's not true. There's lots of ways to deduce intent, and that's not the only way to know. But it's one of the ways. And they're basically about to give her a slow ball. So listen to this. This is the coaching part. And I've never heard a police officer coach a suspect more deliberately and more specifically than in this circumstance. This is something that is a standalone in my 20 odd years of practicing law. This is truly, like, if you could do a textbook example of how not to to phrase a question, this would be it, because they reveal their whole agenda, all of their bias, their intent to circumvent the legislature in the way that they set up this question and the way that she's coached. So watch this.
This is a very, very important question. How you answer this question is going to determine what happens next. But the only person who can answer this question is you. Think very hard before you answer the question. Do not quickly answer. Think very hard. When you slapped him those times, were you attempting to cause him physical pain or physical impairment? Was that what you were attempting to do? What were you attempting to do? What was the reason behind the slapping and stuff? What was it you were attempting to accomplish by slapping?
I was trying to get him to stop telling me to calm down.
Doesn't sound to me like she attempted to injure him. It's your call.
This is cruel. She's been sitting in the back of this police car. She's very emotional and probably scared, is my guess. She's been told they have no choice and they have to arrest her. She's going to either go to jail or be cited and released and then have a stay away order. She was just on the phone with her parents. I mean, it's a big deal. And it's almost like they're taunting her in a way. I mean, I know that's not their intention, but they're bantering back and forth with, well, you know, she said she didn't intend it. I don't know, it's your call. And she's just kind of looking back and forth between them as they decide her fate about whether she's going to jail or not. And it's so disturbing to me because she's already presumably in a relationship where she doesn't have the power and control. She's the one being victimized. And now the police are sort of reenacting this, like I said, it's almost cruel scenario between them of like, well, we got to make this arrest. We have no choice. And okay, listen to this question. You know, your life depends on this question. You've never had a more important question. Well, she answered it right. You know, it's up to you. What are you going to do? And she's just sitting there, you know, like these are two men who are in a position to actually help her. And they just utterly failed. And I don't believe that they meant to fail her. They believed they were doing right by her. I truly believe that. And I think that any law enforcement officer who had been in this exact situation would also think they were doing right by her. They didn't know what they were doing wrong. They thought that they had her best interest at heart. And that is why the legislature does not want police officers to substitute their judgment for legislation. I gotta let my dog out.
Was I no woman in this life? Short upon the earth now was her time. Of all the seeds she'd sown and the people she had known, deeply did she touch the soul of mine. She called a spade a spade. She stood on the edge of reason and even faced with death until their final dying breath. She fought for what